Hey, gang, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for tuning in and checking me out. So, I'm going to talk to you about this. I haven't done any videos in a while, so thought I'd do one, just feeling it today. About this LaMDA, this AI. So, now Google's rolling out a new app. They have it in test mode that you could download now if you have an Android phone, and you can interface with this AI. So you could go on it, and it's pretty much like open world kind of thing. So you just go on it, and you could ask it questions. And just thought I'd weigh in on it a little bit. So you're going to say things like, how do I cook a steak, and it's going to break it down, it's going to get the information, or how do I do this, and it'll break down whatever you have a problem, and it's going to break it down into smaller tasks to help you to figure things out. So why is that maybe a bad thing? So I'll tell you a story. Like I was noticing a lot of times in my regular job, I have to memorize get numbers, and instead of writing them down, I practice for a lot of memorizing the numbers. When I go to somewhere else and someone else asks me the number that was on something, or the number for it, I just recite it. 6-digit number is 7-digit number, whatever it is. I just break it down, try to remember it, and practice a lot. And it helps you develop a part of your mind that you don't, practice with a lot, especially memorizing for short term certain sequences of numbers, and telling it to somebody else. For my job helps me out during the day, and they go, wow, you remember that? I go, yeah. It's something I think is important. Now I have other guys I worked with, and then they say, okay, they just grab their phone, take a picture of the screen, and that's it. Then they go and they read it off the screen, which is fine. I mean, I get it. So, but I was talking to these same people and asking them questions, but they don't seem to have, a lot of memory going on. So memory, you have to practice with it. So you have to practice with your memory to get your memory better. If you look at Nikola Tesla, the story is that his mom used to make him practice with memorization cards all the time. So he actually had a great memory, and that way when he ended up learning math, he could take those math problems and do them in his head. Like he had a chalkboard, and then he would come out with answers and then visualize things, because that helps you. So what I'm saying is, memory is an important part of intelligence. Not just memory, but problem solving. So you need to do something. Instead of everybody's always looking it up all the time, I try to problem solve myself with trying to figure out the way to do it before I'll resort to searching for it online. That helps, keeps me sharp. So if you need to do something, you trial and error and figure it out, and maybe you're figuring out something better than what's already on the web. So what this AI computer is doing is it's circumventing all that critical thinking, all the creative thinking, all the juices that you could add flowing, all that brain development that you're going to develop, you're giving over to now AI, which for the most part, a lot of people are doing every day. I can't tell you how many times a day I ask somebody a question, and they'll try, and they'll go on the internet and they'll just search it before, and say, no, it's this, or it is that. Instead of trying to remember or trying to figure it out, everybody resorts to doing internet searches and getting the information hand-fed you. But what if the information on the web is wrong? What if all the information out there is wrong? Then you're going along with all the wrong information. And what about, let's take a step back here, what about if this it says we're taking the information, all the question you ask this system, and we're going to be evaluating and see how the system's doing. That's what Google's saying. So obviously, yeah. So in the future, when you have this AI at your fingertips and you're asking it questions, it's taking a snapshot of you. It's measuring the personality. You don't know where those questions are going, where it's taking that information, and how it's taking that data. And they just want to get more data on you. Strangely enough, data is the biggest thing in the world. So data, when I say that, I mean the biggest money maker. So you'd think oil was making more money, but no, data collection is. Having data on you, and this video, is making somebody money somewhere when they take this information and they correlate that data and put it in an easy understand format. Companies want to pay for it to know what target you with what ads and what have not. Besides being able to control you and what you're thinking. So the AI, for the most part, I say is a bad idea. And from a biblical standpoint, what does it say in the Bible? Do not worship your idols. So when you're giving over your questions to an AI, instead of praying about it and trying to, ask God what the question is, you're praying for an answer from, a computer, a synthetic thing. So let's be clear, that's kind of evil in itself, right? So people could weigh in and say, hey, I prayed to God, but I didn't get an answer. Did you pray? Did you really pray? Did you pray correctly or incorrectly? How were you feeling? Was your body full of toxins at the time? Were you drunk when you were praying? I mean, come on. So were you in a holy kind of a mindset to try to interface with the Lord, or were you just saying swear words and asking something? I mean, you got to think about it the right way. And for people, not try to access their higher self and get to the point where you don't need to go on the internet, because there's another internet called the Akashic Records, where you can kind of access that, and people aren't doing that. They're just going on the web and they're searching things that way. So listen, I understand it's such a temptation to go on the web and do a search and find out the answer. Everybody's doing it. So we have the collective knowledge of the world at our fingertips. Why shouldn't you use it? I get it. But it's when people have these, the new AIs that's coming out, it's really going to be doing its thinking for you. And the negative aspects are outweighing the positive aspects. Just think about it when, when they roll this out, it's coming out. Now all these things are coming out. So, all your kids will have this app, and I don't know how it's going to work in the future, but they're going to be asking certain questions that they don't need to ask their parents anymore. And so it takes place of the parents as well. It's going to be taking place of the teachers, taking, place of everything, and then that's it. And then everybody's going to be, looking to this AI for the answers and to do its thinking for them. People collectively are going to be dropping IQ points, while the AI is obviously gaining IQ points. It's getting smarter from gathering this information, and and the people are controlling them. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Also, Elon Musk with Tesla, obviously, he said his goal is to make robots. That's his thing. So they're rolling out a robot soon. I believe it's $799, and it weighs 130 pounds. We talked about it already. So it's going to be able to, maybe it's going to come into your home and do tasks for you. That's the goal of it. If they could get a AI robot now to go into a supermarket and be a stock boy, then they don't need to hire a stock boy. Oh, you paid that stock boy minimum wage? Well, now you just collectively you bought that robot, and now you don't need to pay anybody minimum wage. So, for a lot of people, I remember my first job. One of my first jobs, I had a lot of first jobs, but one of them was being a stock boy. So that's what I did after school. I went to a place and I stocked shelves and did that, and that's how I learned. And I learned things from there about what was worked in a drugstore. So what was popular with drugs, what wasn't popular. When I say popular with drugs, I mean what were people taking. I started learning about medicine at an early age, and what does what causes certain things by working there and just seeing how things worked and seeing how business worked and things like that. So I got invaluable lessons from just being a stock boy. So they're going to be taking that away from people, and then kids want to get a job doing that. They're not going to have that. So what are they going to do? Maybe they'll do this universal basic income and take away the creative spark from people to have the ability to make income for themselves. And you know what? Doing a job and getting paid for it is satisfying. And people sometimes they don't have a lot in their lives. The one thing they have, they think, is my job. I did my job. I did it correctly. I worked there. I did a good job. I mean, just think about it. I did a good job. That phrase could be one day taken out of the lexicon of the human vocabulary. They're not going to be doing any jobs. There aren't going to be jobs. They're just going to be, computers doing everything, and you sitting around. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. I don't know if I'm espousing any other things that maybe you weren't thinking of already. Maybe you're like-minded. Maybe I did touch on something that you haven't thought of before. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, as they always say. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Peace out, Cub Scout. Bye-bye.